Good morning, rise and shine with Global Entertainment News TV Morning Boss. I am your host, Bisola, ready to kickstart your day with all the fresh news and stories. And right here with me, bringing our host back to the studio is Bella. Let's dive into today's headline, fresh from the Daily Post and Edition. Today's top story from the Daily Post. Ondo man arraigned for alleged sexual abuse of 16 years old news. Ondo State Police Command have arrested and arraigned a 53-year-old man identified as Babawale Kolawole over allegation of serious sexual abuse of his 16-year-old niece, which reportedly led to two terminated pregnancies. The shocking incident, which has drawn widespread condemnation, occurred at Kolawole Residency on number 12 Oko Odunwo Street, Igado, in Ondo West local government area. Confirming the development in a statement on Wednesday in Akure, the police public relations officer, DSP Olushola Ayonlade, said the matter came to light following a formal complaint lodged by the victim on September 13, 2025. According to the teenager's account, her uncle subjected her to repeated sexual assault almost on daily basis. She alleged that after each act, Kolawole would clean her private part with a cloth and on two separate occasions facilitated the termination of pregnancies resulting from the assault. Acting swiftly on the report, operative of the Gender-Based Offences Unit of the Command apprehended Kolawole and subsequently charged him to court. The preceding judge ordered that he be remanded in custody pending the continuation of his trial.
This is actually a very, very sad one because there are so many of things like this that is actually happening around and then some are not even being caught while some are actually being caught and then it's a very bad thing. There's more to there's a lot on the hand of those gender-based rights and order that needed to be fighting and then acknowledging parents as well to keep an eye on their children, their teenagers, and then hear them out, not to be too harsh on them when they are wanting to talk to them. They should be open because if they were kind of mother, daughter, and father relationship that's very close, that the children can actually tell their parents anything. I don't feel that this thing would have gotten to this point of terminating two pregnancy and also using a cloth to wipe the girl private parts is a very bad one. So there should be a watch out. Not everybody that you have to entrust your children with, especially, let me just call the male and the female that is still on that age. The nannies as well are molesting the boy's child, the househelp are molesting, and all this is spreading and it really needs to get the attention of the human rights activists to make sure that every household is needed to be aware. If you are going to have a nanny, make sure there's a camera installed to know every movement of the nanny with the children to know what is happening because I've seen so many videos that's actually really bad stories that have been talked about this one and an uncle as well. It's a very sad one. So all these things need to be acknowledged.
All right, up to our next story. Over 650 kidneys worth $41 billion trafficked in Nigeria, says medical experts. A professor of medicine at the Bayero University Kano, BUK, and consultant nephrologist at Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, AKTH, Professor Aliyu Abdul, has revealed that at least 651 kidneys valued at more than $41 billion were trafficked and transplanted illegally in Nigeria between 2015 and 2020. He said the development forms part of a global black market in which 10,000 kidneys are sold every year. Speaking at a seminar on national organs and tissue transplantation standard in Abuja, Prof. Adu warned the organs trafficking is thriving in Nigeria due to negligence regulation. Although the National Health Act of 2014 prohibits the sales of human organs and requires donors' consent, he said enforcement remains weak, leaving poor citizens vulnerable to exploitation. Victims are mostly impoverished people who are easily influenced by financial insensitive and ignorance of the possible risks involved, he explained, lamenting that many donors are abandoned without proper care after surgery, often left battling depression and diseases.
There's not how am I going to put it? This let me say
Mass
organs
trafficking.
selling and all that is actually being on different bases. Like it has been on the news, like, but sometimes it doesn't actually make it out because there are some people that actually feels like the way Nigeria is right now, selling one of their kidneys would actually
Give
provide
them
them some
money.
money and then they are going to use it to take care of them. And why some comes from the mob, those that have died that are put in the mortuary and then the family they already operated in them taking some of their organ and then leaving the body just empty and
Anyhow,
then return it back to the family. And those that actually got kidnapped and all that and then that later lost their life and all they just wanted to do is to harvest this organ and all that. And some are actually happening within the medical sector that some doctors are now involved in all those kind of things that they just wanted to make quick money and then try to feed the family. So if there were going to be a thorough investigation, because this thing has now become a very, very easy thing for most people to now to
mm-hmm.
find connection and easily traffic organs out of the country. And we are scared. It's not just because that most people does not consent to all this thing to actually sell their organs or something like that. But we are scared for the unknown, for some of us that don't even know or
Yeah.
how it's going to be taken from us or how it's going to. I read one news that a lady went for appendix. So instead of the appendix to be removed,
Remove the
her
kidney.
kidney was also been missing and all that. So it was a work of a doctor that did that, and then it's really really wrong.
It's
So
very
I'm
bad.
going to feel like the medical personnel, the security agents, and all that needed to look into all this. In Nigeria should not just be a dumping site for everything should be happening at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. So it's getting out of hand. Everything needed to be put in order before we don't even know how.
It's going to get, like she said, it's getting too much. Up to our next story. Plateau insecurity. Military has to be better trained, says former OPSH commander. A former commander of Operation Safe Haven (OPSH), Major General Roger Nicholas, has called for robust training of the military to tackle insecurity in Plateau State. General Nicholas made this call on Wednesday while responding to questions in an interview on Arise Television, stressing that Plateau State has a difficult terrain. He said the military needs to be assessed in operational area in terms of equipment and personnel, adding that necessary logistics and technology need to be provided for them to do well. Talking about war against insurgency, I stand to be corrected. I don't think the federal government has declared any war against insurgency. If war was declared against insurgency, the instruments of national power will come to play, but here they are just allowing the military only to be carrying out the kinetic efforts. The non-kinetic part of it is slow and it's not helping matters. Having said that, there is a need to reassess the military in these operational areas in terms of equipment and their personnel because the landmass of some of these states are very large and the terrain is very difficult.
We've been talking about
Kidnapping
Nigerian
and
Nigerian army, let me say, insecurity personnel that they are not well equipped and then they hardly have enough arms to go
right.
after this insurgencies and terrorism that is bordering Nigeria, and that is just one of it that is being read out by
Mm-hmm.
General Nicholas. And it's something that we always wanted to talk about when it comes to this kind of a thing. You can actually put it, let me say, some children, father, and even a brother in the forest. Let me say in the war front and expect them to fight with their bare hands when the person that they are going to be fighting is coming with arms, well equipped arms that can actually, they have a lot of arms on them, ammunition, bomb, and all that, and then landmine. They even have it a lot that it can just, with a snap of a finger, they can wipe an entire security personnel that is on the watch. So the Nigeria's government needed to look into how they are going to provide enough of arms. So the recent one and then a lot of it that are actually in a good use for the Nigerian security to actually face this insecurity so that they can fight it to the end. Instead of us keep on repeating everyday insecurity of how they are actually doing and killing and then attacking village, we should now focus on how we have to fight
Eradicate it.
back
Yeah.
and then take back our state. That is all.
Yeah, you said it all. All right, let's move on. Man stabs 25-year-old to death over 14,000 naira debt in Ondo. Ondo State Police Command has confirmed the arrest of a man identified as Wale Ibrahim for allegedly stabbing a 25-year-old Fisayo Adetumobi to death during a dispute at Litaye camp in Ondo East local government area. Police spokesperson DSP Olushola Ayanlade, in a statement released in Akure on Wednesday, said the incident occurred on September 13 around 6:30 p.m. at a construction site along Litaye Camp near Lake Road. According to the preliminary findings, Ibrahim has gone to the site to demand 40,000 naira from one Gabriel Oyeniran as payment for wood he had earlier sold to him. The confrontation soon escalated into a heated quarrel, during which the suspect allegedly became violent and pulled out a knife. In the process, the suspect, Wale Ibrahim, stabbed one Fisayo Adetumobi who was at the scene, inflicting a fatal wound on his chest. Ayanwale explained. The victim reportedly died on the spot, while Ibrahim was immediately empowered and arrested. Police investigation has since been concluded and the suspect has been charged to court for prosecution.
A very bad way to actually comfort someone that is owing you. If there is any way that you wanted to comfort someone, and then this has been in a long stand of a debt going to 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and even a year, you have the right to actually take the person to police custody so that you can sign an agreement and when and how it's going to actually repay you back of that money. But you taking this into your hand now, you're going to spend the rest of your life behind the bar for killing because it's already a murder that you have already committed. So you're going to spend the rest of your life, and then this is not supposed to be happening. You went there for, and no matter how angry you are, you have to listen and then calm down and then have a normal agreement to whatever that is happening and then just settle it there instead of now you see you're going to be arrested and then charged to court and then so right now there's no longer like you're going to spend higher you're going to be hanged by death because whoever killed is going to be killed as well. But
What I will add to this, no matter anything that happened, your fight should not result to death. If you know you are going to borrow someone money you can't actually give up on, don't borrow the person money because imagine you killing someone, even though if it is a mistake for over just for 14,000 naira is bad now. You are ending your life in jail, nobody will rescue you, nothing, and the person in question now is dead. All right, so our top story from the nation. 38 schools involved in exam malpractice, says NECO. The National Examination Council (NECO) has disclosed that 38 schools in 13 states were involved in all-state cheating during the conduct of 2025 Internal Senior School Certificate Examination. Announcing this during the release of the 2025 Internal SSCE results yesterday, the NECO Registrar and Chief Executive Officer Professor Dantani Ibrahim Washishi said 9 supervisors were recommended for blacklisting and 3,878 candidates were involved in various forms of malpractice. 9 supervisors, which include 3 in Rivers, 1 in Niger, 3 in FCT, and 1 in Kano, and 1 in Osun State, were recommended for blacklisting due to poor supervision, aiding and abetting lateness, unruly behavior, assault, and insubordination.
so examination malpractice has actually been common in Nigeria.
Mhm.
Those that have been caught are those that have been blacklisted because there are some that actually tend, even the supervisor that do comes out to says that they wanted to be supervised, they have been bribed and given money to actually keep quiet and allow the students. There are those that actually call themselves the miracle center and all, and then it's really a funny one though. But then here in Nigeria, we tend to actually do writing skills and all that instead of actually dealing with mostly practical that can. Some children actually good at practical that
Yeah,
they,
instead of theory.
once you show them the little practical, they already grab it and then they wanted to extend it. The more there's going to be a lot and lot of there's a lot and lot of examination that is being written all over Nigeria, and then it's becoming a whole lot of frustration. Every individual from the forefathers till now, children are still writing exam, and it's really sad. So if the government is going to cut short of exam and then try to go into more practical of a
Yeah,
thing,
it will be better.
it's going to be reduce a whole lot of malpractice
Yeah.
and all that. So they needed to look into the way they have to push those children into writing
Practical.
skills, writing examination and all that, and then look forward in how to actually develop the
Practical
examination
aspect.
sector and then build up the brain of the children and then started equipping them with more practical instruments for them to learn much
Yeah,
better.
yeah, that
So
would be best.
it's very, very going to be best and then cut short of all those
Mm-hmm.
examination malpractice and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that.
yeah. All right, let's move on. Nigerian, fighting back against banditry and insecurity. Kidnapping and banditry remains among Nigeria's most pressing security challenges, from Zamfara to Kaduna and down to the southeast. The surge has disrupted lives, displaced communities, and drained the economy through ransom payments. Despite the grim headlines, recent coordinated security efforts are producing measurable results, offering conscious patriotism for citizens, policymakers, and the international community alike. In a democracy that strives on dissent and scrutiny, pushback from groups like SBN Intelligence and Northern Elders Forum should be expected. The criticism of recent incidents highlights the persistence of the problem and the human cost that statistics alone cannot capture. Still, challenges do not erase progress. Security is rarely perfect. Successes are incremental and often fragile. What matters is what Nigeria is moving forward in terms of security in many respects.
Well, what he actually says is just another way to avoid some things, and then he's not actually going towards the main cause of this
Mm-hmm.
whole thing that is actually arising in Nigeria. Nigerians are not going to be able to fight that because some of us don't even know how to use guns, some of us don't even know how to use some arms and all that. We're trying to say that we wanted to fight insecurity is like we are already to even surrender to the terrorists themselves and then try to for them to just take over. So if there is any way they needed to fight this insecurity, it's for the government to actually equip the security personnel and then try to give them what they need, the
Yeah.
arms and the ammunition that they need, the modern one that can actually fight because there is a lot of them that is losing their life out there and they have poor cares from the government. So if there is going to be a poor care from the security personnel, they are going to actually take the poor insecurity and terrorism negligence. They are going to be nonchalant towards it that I don't want to die for a country that is not paying me well.
Yeah.
So that is just how it's going to be. So let us all face the government and ask them for more support to actually give to those security personnel so that they can actually have a way to combating this insecurity and also call for war against those insecurities.
Yeah, like you said, a well-equipped equipment should be given to the security, and also, I will add, the security should be trained because a lot of youth now are joining the police force, the custom force, the immigration just because they are jobless. Some does not even know anything about it. Some are not even being trained. Immediately they join, they will push them to the workforce to go and fight. With what? How do they want to fight them? So I just implore the government to do the necessary things. They should not even wait for us to come for them or to be shouting on them before they take step. So please, you guys should just like step up on your game. It's not really fair on us. We are really suffering. Sincerely, we are suffering. All right, guys, thank you for joining us today on the Breakfast Show. I've been your host, Busola. I hope you enjoyed today's program. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye.